Hi guys, I'm MightyBalls and today's video is regarding the TVP VTU, the Tier 8 Czech medium tank. I'm going to give you a small little review about it and I'm going to show you a couple of replays on how to play this tank. Okay, I'm on the tanks.gg website. Here you can analyse just about every single tank in World of Tanks. I'm doing the TVP VTU concept. Now a lot of you might be surprised the fact that I prefer nearly a stock layout on this. I don't have the top gun and I don't have the top turret, and I'll give you my reasons for this. If you're going for the second 8.8, which is the tier 8 version, not the tier 7, you get more DPM, you get better penetration and better gun handling. If you go for the stock turret rather than the tier 8 turret, you get better gun depression, but you're sacrificing your view range in the meantime. For instance, if you take a look at my gun depression, it's 8 degrees depression, 25 elevation. Now if I stick it on the top turret, it drops to 20 degrees elevation and only 6 degrees gun depression. And to me, I prefer the gun depression of the stock turret and the better DPM. So with this tank, if you're using the stock turret and 8.8, sorry, that went to a 10.0 for some reason, an 8.8 gun, you get 2,492.37 damage per minute, which is quite extraordinary for a tier 8 medium. Your reload is 5.78 on the reload of what I've got, which is V-stabs, gun rammer and ventilation. Small repair kit, small med kit and buchty, I think that's the way you pronounce it. If not, I do apologise. Now I have a 3-man skill on this, 3-skill man crew. Sorry. I got brother in arms, recon, smooth ride, off-road, snapshot, situation awareness and safe stow. Safe stow is a must on the Czech tanks. You seem to get ammo rack quite a lot in these things. So with that loadout, I have a great reload time of 5.78 as just mentioned, with a rate of fire of 10.38 shots per minute, an aim time of 1.76 and a gun dispersion of 0.33. Now the reason why I have the buchty is because this tank is very underwhelming, one of the worst tier 8 mediums in my book, so I will gladly sacrifice the fire extinguisher for this, purely so I can get that little bit better gun handling, better movement, better everything on this tank, because this tank really isn't a great tank. I've already mentioned the gun depression. Now the next thing is the view range. Because you haven't got the top turret and I haven't put optics in, you can swap out the ventilation for the optics if you like, but because I haven't done that, I've only got a view range of 421.8, which doesn't reach the maximum of the 447 required. So I'm over on the live 3D model. Here it shows you the armour. Frontally it is pretty poor, lower plates around 50 to 53 and the top plate is between 52 and 69, so just about everything to go through you. The turret's 83 unless you're hitting the gun mantlet, and then it ranges from 40 to 121 effective armour. It's auto ricochet on the sides, which is pretty understandable considering its extreme angles. The cupola, which is fairly big on top, is around 40mm thick. Even if you're angling this tank pretty damn spot on, you're still going to be very easy to penetrate on the front. Between 55 and 75 on the side is again pretty bad, around 48. Even if they're hitting around the tracks, they're still going to go through just about everything you meet. And the side of it's 30mm. Expect to be penned by HE in both the side and the turret, and especially the rear, which is only 30mm thick and 40 in the turret. So my advice, if you're shooting one of these, load HE, get to the rear, don't hit the back of the turret, because chances are 60% of the time you'll go through, the other 40 you won't. Hit the actual back of the tank, it is only 30mm thick. So we're on Fairy Salient on Encounter. Our team looks good, their team looks good, it's pretty even. I'm not top tier, but it's not really a bad matchmaking, purely because the tanks which are there are only 3 tanks, 2 are TDs and 1's a medium. I'm going to go to the hill, stop people capping. There's nothing worse than people capping on this within the first 2 minutes. You get no damage, you get no experience, and the game's just wasted. So I'm going to go there. I'm about to load APCR, purely because I'm going to expect the Centurion 7-1 there, and with that I want to make sure that I can scare him off so he doesn't push through, because if the enemy push this side, it's quite hard to defend against, and I want to scare him off from doing that. So I'm going to load APCR in a minute. Now, a few of you might have noticed I've got my ideal tags on. I know I'm Kitty, but Kitty don't do the campaign for the Chieftain T95 or any other campaign, shall I say. So I kindly asked Ideal, can I join you just for the campaign so I can get my Chieftain T95, and they were kind and let me in. So that's the reason I've got my Ideal tags on this one. So it's me and the T71 so far going to the hill. We've got a Tiger 2 and M445 coming also. Now the Centurion 7-1 is suddenly spotted on the 1 line. He's going to be doing the noob thing and camping down the 1 line, which I don't see why, because the cap's the other side. Stupidly, I don't realise that I'm still firing APCR, and I do that sometimes where if I load APCR straight away, I forget that I've loaded it and it's going to cost me an absolute fortune. I put a shot into the IS-3, but unfortunately I miss. I see myself a T69, I take a shot, and again for some reason it missed. As you're seeing with this tank, it's a fairly reliable tank gun, but it's not great. It's meh. It's the only word I can explain. It's meh. So I want to make sure that these guys aren't going to push, but as well as put supporting fire into the KV4 and the IS-3. So I put a shot into the IS-3, again nothing. So then I'm going to go for the KV4, and unfortunately the IS-3 takes it in the side. So I put in another shot into the KV4, putting him down to 420. My team take shots at him and put him down to basically a 1 shot from me. I take a shot and kill him. So that's one of their dangerous tanks down. The IS-3 is down to only 800 health. He seems to want to push and to lose all his health for some reason. So I put in another shot, putting him down to only 35 to 40% of his health pool, and voila, this game is starting to look alright for us. The score's 2-2. I've done 700 damage, and the hill's starting to get a bit tricky now. They've got a bit brave. The T69 started to push. I put a shot into his turret, I pull back, I pull forward again. I want to get that T25 AT. I hit him, I pull back, pull forward, he goes invisible, so I'll go after the T69. I can't seem to find him, but then I'll aim down, and there he is. I shoot him in the turret again, and now he's suddenly thinking I've put myself in a stupid position. Now that's a dangerous sight to see when you're on the hill. A hull down T29. There is not a chance, even in my APCR, that I'm going through him. So I'm going to ignore him and go for the the T69. He's taken out by my team, which is pretty decent, and now this hill is starting to look pretty won now. So I'm going to go up, I'm going to try and spot this T29 again. The SU 12244 is spotted, the tier 7 premium tank, I believe that is, and he's taken out within seconds of being spotted, which is quite funny. So the M445 decides to push. I think I'm not going to let him take it, I'm going to keep him alive. If he's got the balls to try and push, I'll follow. So I start pushing forward, and then I hesitated, and then that's sort of I'm going, I thought. So I head over. I was expecting to take at least 1 shot here, but for some reason the T29s decided to keep aiming at the guys to my right. I put in a shot, it misses, which seems to be the story of this tank, to be fair. I put in another shot, tried to track him, it didn't track him. I realise he's on reload, and I load a lot quicker with my 8.8, so I put in 1 shot. He tracks me again. I'm going to go for a ram, hopefully I can ram kill, and unfortunately I do not. I hit him for 197 and he hits me for 124. I've finalised the arty kill, and I pull back. Now the gun depression, as you're seeing in this tank, even though it's 8 degrees, over the side it's absolutely awful. I couldn't get my gun low enough to hit the hull of that T29. Now the mobility of this tank's okay, as I said, but as soon as you hit any hills, this tank is an absolute bag of poo. As you're about to see, a tiny little hill like this, most heavies and most mediums can get up this, but no, power to ton makes this tank an absolute pile of pants. So this tank is meh on its mobility. It's good on a straight line, that's about it. Its guns reliable but not great. Its power to ton ratio is pretty awful. Its ground resistance is okay. Its armor is a bag of pants. So how do you play this? You've got to keep this at mid range. Don't go brawling because you're not going to win a brawl. Your DPM is very good, but your health pool is only 1350, which isn't great. Your hits towards the other people is only, I think, 230 or 240 average. As you can see, I'm hitting quite low 9 times out of 10. So keep this at medium to long range. As you're seeing now, I'm going to keep that T30 around my maximum view range, purely because this tank can't get hit. Every single tank you're about to find, apart from that T29, because he just wanted to fire at my tracks for some reason, is going to pen you through the turret, through the side, through the front, through the back. It's going to pen you. So try not to get hit in this tank. If you get hit, you're going to get penetrated. If you get hit too many times, you're going to die. It's simple as that. And I know you can say that's the same for most tanks, but at least in a lot of tanks you've got a chance of bouncing, or at least bouncing some miracle shots. This has no chance. If it hits you, even at extreme angles, sometimes you are going to get penetrated. So I'm going to put myself behind these bushes on the left, and I'm going to put some crossfire into the T30 and Object 704. So as you can see, this tank's mobility isn't too bad. It's not the worst, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. It can get everywhere around 45 to 50 kilometers, unless you're going uphill. And it does turn a bit like a boat, unfortunately. And the camo rating, I forgot to mention, is really bad. So anyway, I'm going to take the side of this Object 74. I fire. As you can see, I'm only on AP. AP is more than enough to go through the side of that tank and through the front of the T30. So I see the T30, I hit him in the side, I take a big chunk out of his health, I hit him again, and I pull back, luckily dodging his huge 750 alpha gun. Putting a shot, it misses, and then he gets taken out very quickly just before I load, and then my very final shot goes into there. So let's go over to the second replay, and then I'll show you the results of both of them after. So again, we're on Fairy Salient. This time it's a standard battle, and this time we're spawning in the south. We're top tiers, teams are about equal. We've both got a unicorn on our teams, we've both got little to none green players, and they're mostly red. So I'm going to go over to the mid-ridge, right in the centre of the map, to try and flank over and support crossfire on the 0 line and on the 1 line, as well as deal with some people who are on the mid-ridge. So this map generally either gets won or lost on the 1 line or on the 0 line. Now a lot of people go to the hill when spawning to the south and just camp on H0. That does nothing for your team. Please guys, stop doing that. You're not spotting and you're not shooting, you're just getting shot continuously from the mid-ridge around the E line. So the Type 58 is spotted. He's in a quite hull down area, not many people are going to spot him. The MT25 is trying to work up to get some spots over the 1 line so the TDs get taken out, but to no avail at present. The game's still early, it's only a minute through. He'll probably spot some people pushing forward in a minute. So that Type 58 on their team is trying to get some spots off for their artillery or their TDs, or even people on the hill, and an Oni is spotted. Hopefully our artillery is going to take him out. He's already focusing him as he showed on our screen, and hopefully he's going to do that. Now I'm going to try and keep myself unspotted and out of Artie's eye for a while. This tank hates Artie. If Artie hits this, you are going to go boom. So anyway, I put a shot into the Cromwell. Nice little shot. AP round. Straight in there. I didn't load APCR this time, guys. I put in another shot, putting the Cromwell down to about 30% of his health. So I put in one little blind shot. The accuracy weren't great, and I took out the roof, which is a plus anyway, because that generally gets in your way. So a Skoda T25 spotted, a T37 spotted. I put a shot, fully aimed. As you can see, the accuracy on this isn't the best, but it still did something. I put another shot on the T25, it misses. I can't see much of the T37, so I don't bother firing. I put in a blind shot just in case, because hey, you never know. Now the VTU was suddenly spotted. Now he's a dangerous player. I put a shot into him, putting him down to 642 health. Now he's their best player by an absolute mile on their team, so if we can take him out, this game could be as good as one right there. So the Cromwell spotted again. So there's T37. I'm in a bit of dilemma which one to go for. I'll go for the Cromwell B and put him down to a one shot for just about every tank in the game. Now the Indian Panzer's spotted. I know this, but I'm getting YOLO'd by a Oni. I put a shot in, it bounces because, you know, it's Oni. And I put in one final shot, puts him down to only a few health, and my team take him out. I had to load APCR, I wasn't going to be able to penetrate him else, so unfortunately I am now on APCR. And you know what I'm like? I forget, I suddenly remember what I'm firing, and so I put my next shot over to AP. Put in a shot, it misses the T25. And I'm feeling a bit frustrated here because my team are doing a good job spotting and pushing, and I'm not helping them out much. The game's 3-3. I've done 1200 damage. I've had next to no input into this game at the present, and out comes their light tank. I put a shot into them, pull back because I don't want to get hit by any of the big camping TDs. The Indian Panzer's spotted. He's gone quite aggressive there. Let's see if we can punish him. I aim, I shoot, I miss. As I said all along, this gun's fairly reliable, but it's kind of meh. So he's put down to next to no health. I overestimated how fast he was going. I put a shot in and it went miles to the back of him. I put in another shot and take him out. Unfortunately, taking two huge shots, a 210 and a 144, putting me down to 50% of my health. So the Type 58's down here. I know he's down here. I'm just going to go and try and take him out. I'll get to the corner of this to try and keep myself away from the camping TDs to the left. I spot him, I put a shot in, I'm pulling back. This tank's really slow, and I take two big more hits from the Dicker Max and then Natural one. Luckily the Natural one's using a small gun, or else it would have been game over. Artillery then take a shot, putting me down to only 49 health, taking out my driver and my radio operator. So now I'm about dead, so I've got to be even more passive than normal. This just shows this tank in all its height. It's just going to get penetrated by anything. That Type 58, which is a light tank, just went through me like butter, and just about everything on this game will. So I'm going to use these, and I'm going to let my team spot for me because I don't fancy getting hit. I've only got to get farted on by any of these tanks and I'm dead. I am dusted. So I'm just going to stay here. The artillery spotted, the nasty little bugger. I'm going to put a shot into him, put him down to 211. My reload on this tank is pretty good, and that is why I can take the artillery out before anyone else does. Now the natural one's spotted. I put a shot into him, and then I want to put my attention to this artillery. I take a shot at him, I put him down to 110. Again, my reload is really good, but unfortunately I miss. Suddenly a CDC's spotted. He's progressing forward. I'm going to take a shot. It's in a bush, so I shouldn't get spotted. I take another shot, and I probably will get spotted here because there's no bushes in the way. I do get spotted. I take another shot. And hang on, I'm pretty sure that went in. Let's have a look at that. Okay, I'm on free view here. I've got it in slow motion. I've just taken the shot, as you saw. and I'm pretty sure this hit. Wargaming stances, it happens in 1 in 1,000 battles. It's to do with your latency, etc, etc. Where my latency is green, I've got a ping of 29 and a frame rate of 83 at the time, and as you can see, that went straight through its turret. GG Wargaming. Now I put myself behind the rock again. There's a Dickomax I don't want to get hit by, who's on full health. I take a shot, he turns perfectly, and unfortunately for him, he gets taken out within a split second. Now there's only a JGPZ4 left, who's on full health. I aim, I shoot, and he gets taken out by my team. So let's go over to the results. I'm on QuickieBaby's replay website, which is replays.quickybaby.com. I penetrated 10 tanks, killing 3, spotting, or shall I say initial spotting of 3 tanks, doing a damage of 4,318 and 459 assistance damage. I had 1,144 base experience, and I made 53,946 credits, losing 53,508 credits because of stupidly firing nothing but APCR, because of my stupid little mind on not realizing I'm firing APCR, thinking I was still firing AP. So, and also 23,000 for consumables, which is my repairing my tracks when I got detracked, and also my Butchdy. So I'd fired 28 shots, 20 of which hit and 20 penetrated. I made 1,716 experience because I'm premium, with 85 free XP, and because it was a ×2 of the day, I made 3,432. My second replay is this one, and I did 3, 6, 9, 10 tanks again where I penetrated, of which I killed 2, and I did an initial spot of 1. I did 3,452 damage with 908 assistance. I got 984 experience from that game. I earned 46,947 whilst making a loss of 11,142, and I only fired, I think it was 2 premium rounds in that game, showing how expensive this is. I fired 28 shots, hitting 16, penetrating 15. The only one I bounced was when I fired 1 AP shell at the Oni, I think it was. I did 1,476 experience with premium, with 73 free XP. Because it was a ×3 of the day, I made 4,428 experience, and that comes to a total of 222 free experience. So a little recap. Basically, you've got no armor, anything's going to hit you, anything's going to penetrate you, as you saw. Even a TAR 59 was easily going through me with his AP rounds. You've got average mobility, it's not slow, it's not quick. As soon as you hit soft terrain or uphill, it's quite sluggish like a boat. If you're using the top turret, top gun, you've got less than adequate gun depression, really poor gun handling. If you're using the stock turret and the second stock gun, then you've got at least decent DPM and workable gun depression. Now, how do you play this tank? I would suggest you use your tank as a medium support tank. Basically, don't camp the red line, but don't go brawling. You're not going to out-trade most tanks, even though you've got quite good DPM, purely because your health pool is only 1350. So if you're coming up against an IS-3 or anything like that, you're just going to get out-traded purely because they're alpha of the gun. At long range, I wouldn't go any further than your view range, purely because it's not a sniping tank. You're going to miss quite a lot of shots, or they're not going to go to the weak spots you're aiming at. So try and keep it at a distance where your gun's still going to be reliable and you're still going to be effective in the game. If you find yourself in a town map where it's going to be inevitable you're going to be brawling, simply pick where you're meant to be at the right time, at the right in the right place, let's say, because you want to go as a support tank. Go with your heavies, let them take the shots, you just pop out, put a shot or two in, get back in. This tank will not last long for yourselves if you're going to use it as a brawling tank, and vice versa. If you're going to use it as a sniping tank on the red line, you're going to end up doing little to no damage. So keep yourself at medium range, as you saw on this, where I kept it just around the view range where they couldn't see me but I could still shoot them, or even closer. So hopefully if you stick to these rules, you should end up having decent games in this. You might have the one or two great games, but you'll never ever find yourself carrying every single game in this. I've got my average at around 18 or 1900 damage a game in this tank, where that's still decent, but for the DPM this tank has, you should be getting more out of it. But because of the armour, the mobility, the lack of gun, basically, it's just a mediocre tank which needs a buff in my opinion. So that concludes this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. It'll help my channel and help this video. And I'll see you next time, guys.